Okay. Okay. I'd be happy to. Do you want to text it to me, or you have the number handy? Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Perfect. And what's his name? Jeremiah. Got it. Morean. Oh, got it. Perfect. I will reach out to him probably this afternoon at this point. Beautiful. All right. Well, thanks, Tina. I'll confirm with him and then I'll check back with you early next week. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Good morning, all. Doing a couple of follow-up calls. Let me take care of some housekeeping items and we will roll. I got some fun stuff to share. And James put together some great information as a follow-up to yesterday's session. If you were on yesterday, we were talking about, or like the way we started the session was about a Wayne Gretzky quote: "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." And then we were sharing, or I had shared, some phrases that you, me, we can use to ask for the business without like being too blatant about it, right? Like being too in your face about it. And James had mentioned some great, we also mentioned or recommended a book, Exactly What to Say, little black book. There's some great phrases in there. And then James also mentioned the full fee agent, the full fee agent. Yes. Which is, I forget who's the actual author. It's inspired by Chris Voss, but he's not the author.
Is Steve something?
Yeah.
Let me look it up. I'll put a link to the Audible in here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to drop this in the chat. James was kind enough and cool enough to share this. And so I'm going to drop it in the chat. And we'll cover it for a little bit, but I got a lot to share today. Wendy also, I see, has her webcam on. So we'll share, we'll get a little bit of backstory on our conversation on Friday and just maybe an update for those that have been sort of following along with her progress as well. Open pricing early. Would it be too soon to talk about pricing strategy? What do you think your home is worth in its current condition? How did you come up with that number? That's a great one, because you will get people that like, they throw out numbers and you're like, how did you come up with that? Where did that come from? And just being genuinely curious a lot of times will help you continue the conversation. Now, they may still be completely out of the realm of reality in some cases. And, there's only so much we can do, but whatever. Would it be okay if I shared a few pricing strategies? So getting their permission, getting people's permission to share, really good, really good.
Josh, what is the context of this conversation? Is this with an investor or with a...
It doesn't matter. There's no, these are just phrases and things that you can have, little nuggets that you can have in your tool belt in any type of situations or scenarios. If you're talking, I guess that most of these would be seller specific, James, but not necessarily investor, just property owner.
Yeah, it's more, that book's written more for retail type clients.
Totally.
Sellers, but yeah, it applies to investors.
Yeah, it's in my Audible library too, James. I listened to that one years ago. Great book.
Yeah. And I guess Chris Voss did, have something to do with it because his name's on there. It's not just like that guy just took his concepts.
Yeah.
Quite frequently you'll have a co-author like that. Somebody who comes up with the concept, then somebody else will write the book because they're a better writer.
Yeah. And Steve Shaw wasn't
What time do you start? I have this as starting at 9:30. It seems like every time I'm in here, you've already started. Are you starting before 9:30?
I start when I'm ready. So like all I did. So the only thing you missed was a follow-up call with a seller. It was just, and that's
don't care. I'm just making sure I don't have it wrong in my calendar.
No. Technically speaking, 9:30 yesterday morning, okay. And I think Monday it was pretty much right at 9. I was ready a few minutes early, and so I sent the reminder, and I had a call to make anyway, which is a lot of times I just find it kind of fun to start with me on the phone. So like I was just on the phone with she, where did she come from? She was a cash offer request lead, I think, that I've been going back and forth on, and the cold weather and the snow has just kind of delayed us a little bit, being ready to go on the market. So that's really, you didn't miss much. It was just a light conversation.
You are generous with your time. I was just clarifying that I didn't have it
technically,
on my calendar.
Technically 9:30. Technically 9:30. But there are certain days where I might hop into the Zoom at 9:15, 9:20, whatever, just because I'm ahead of the game that particular day, and I'm going to be doing stuff anyway. So why not open it up and let those who are free and available kind of eavesdrop, let's say.
And are you doing a deal sprint today? I've got it on my calendar. That's accurate.
So what I'm going to do at 11 a.m., you wonderfully teed this up. I was going to mention this at some point. What I'm doing at 11 a.m. is I am going to be live prospecting vacant landowners for a buyer that I have using LeadDeck.ai. Sean just made an enhancement to the vacant land seller category, so I can't wait to use that today. And then time permitting, I will also be reaching out to cash buyers about a bank-owned deal that I mentioned earlier on in the week here on the Closers Cafe. So that's at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can go to LeadDeck.ai/sprints. The big red button at the top is where you can register to join the Zoom. You can check out previous those sessions, the on-demand replays of those sessions on the page as well. And then if this is your first time or you're watching one of the live streams, if you go to LeadDeck.ai/closer, you can join the plays of those. We also do our best to document resources that were mentioned, shared, and AI helps us with some cool infographics and stuff like that as well. I don't know what it is about certain days where my Wi-Fi doesn't want to cooperate, but I'm going to stay on this Wi-Fi. Hopefully it'll get worked out. If not, we'll have to switch it over. So James, thanks for sharing this. Just some good questions and some ways to get people's agreement or permission, things of that nature. Because I think the more skilled we are at continuing conversations, asking good questions, getting permission, trial closes is another way to frame that. The more successful we will be. Campbell, I think you had something else that one.
I know I registered for an upcoming one that is for the out-of-state owners. When is that one? Because I thought that may be what you're doing today.
That's tomorrow at noon, but that's I mean, you're welcome to go to that. Or if you want to watch the replay of yesterday's, you can go to LeadDeck.ai/replay. But you already have this blueprint. I mean, you're welcome to check it out.
Got it.
But
I'm just trying to figure out when I'm actually going to do my work in LeadDeck, because
I would like you to do that. I would like you to do that while we're here. And A and B, the 11 a.m. session today, like I want people working, ideally, especially existing LeadDeck Founders Club and sprinters. Chime in when you have a question or put in the chat, etc. But as much as I love everybody, kind of tuning in to check out what I'm doing, I want to show you what I'm doing so you can do the same. Is really more what my intent with those is.
Thank you, kind sir.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to drop this in the chat one more time, just for those that weren't in there when I dropped it at first, and we'll make sure that this resource that James put together so kindly for everyone is available with the replay as well. I'm going to stop my screen share, and I'm going to, Wendy, is it okay if I pin you and grill you for a couple minutes?
Sure.
Okay, so it's Friday afternoon. I don't remember what time, but it's this past Friday afternoon, and I think I was going down in the basement to get a quick little workout in, and I'm walking down the stairs, and I see Wendy's calling, and so I was like, well, I gotta answer. It's Wendy, and no hello, no nothing. It was, what is this bleepery? And I was like, what are you talking about? And so I thought I would put her on the spot a little bit and let her share. And just for some prior context, Wendy signed up for our 3-day deal sprint challenge 2.5 weeks ago, something like that now. I don't think it's been 3 full weeks yet. She went through that. She also last week on Wednesday session last week, I shared in more detail, step by step, how I'm promoting off-market deals on social media and by email to get more conversations. All conversion happens in conversation, meaning all client acquisition, there has to be some conversation, right? So the more conversations, the more reps or at bats we get, the more chances we have to get a hit. Wendy had taken that blueprint and generated some activity, and so we had shared, I think, what a little bit of that last week. But maybe I think what would be cool to share, and you may have other ideas, but the story about your networking event and that kind of putting together in real life the idea that I've been talking about a lot, which is we're just playing go fish. We want to have cards in one hand that are buyers and cards in our other hand that are sellers, and just matching them up.
Yeah, I mean, so it's pretty crazy because you just don't really know. Like, as you pull one thread, it just sort of ends up in some weird spot where you have these clients that like kind of came out of the air. Is kind of what it felt like on Friday. I was like, where are all these people? Who are these people? So I ended up, I had already worked for sell by owners some anyway. So when this started, this last sprint that I was in, I was real comfortable reaching out to for sell by owners. So I have one for sale by owner who is about to list. He has actually a for sale by owner that he flipped. We're going to list that on the market. And then he has another home that he didn't have on the market at all that I've been using as bait, but I'm going to get that listing. So that's 2.
Okay. You hadn't even shared. I don't even remember you sharing this. So hold on. Can I take a step back? So you reached out to a for sale by owner.
Yeah.
It was an investor who had fixed it up to flip it and had it listed for sale by owner. You are that you're going to get, like, they're going to list with you and have other property or other properties that they may consider selling as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 deals.
Okay.
Two properties that they're going to list.
Okay. Which, by the way, just a quick side note, Mark DeRouge also in North Carolina, different part, but maybe not too far. For sale by owner, possible 2 deals as well. Their primary residence and a rental property that he's currently working on. I don't think he's taken the listing on either yet, but he's underway with both of those as well. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
What was funny about that one is, so when I first started working for sell by owners a long time ago, I used to go out and preview them. Like I would go preview them, and I was kind of hesitant to do that again because they can suck a lot of your time up. Yep. So, but what had happened is I sent the script out to 2 or 3 of them, and this guy had replied, and he's like, yeah, sure, come on over. Well, I can tell his property's overpriced, and then I got really busy, so I kind of didn't want to go because it's sort of a little bit of out of the way for me. So I sort of, unraveled myself from that, but we stayed in conversation, and I'm still going to get the 2 listings.
So wait a minute, hold on. Because there's a number of things in that I want to double tap on. Number 1, if you're new, if you're inexperienced, if you're not busy, you should get in person with people as much as you can. Okay. Number 1. That is not the case with Wendy. She's busy. She is experienced, etc. And so you then have to get good at allocating your time, and that is the most finite resource you have. So she determined, rightfully so, this person's overpriced. Maybe there's a disconnect on how realistic they are on price, et cetera. And yet continued the conversation. What did that look like? In other words, what did you do to be more efficient with your time and yet still keep that door open to opportunity with that seller?
So I stopped talking to him about the property he was selling, and I started talking to him about the other investments that he wants to do. And he cannot do any more deals because I was like, hey, oh, by the way, in the process of doing the other part of the work, I surfaced 20 off-market properties that another agent has that are not on the MLS. So and they're all rented and they're all renovated. So they're like turnkey rentals. So I've been using those like crazy. So, I talked to him and I was like, I've got all this stuff over here. You need to hurry up and sell that house so that we can do deals together. And I was the only agent that talked like that,
that is great. Love it.
So that's so he was like, oh, and I was like, look, I've got like this and this and this. So I had an okay pipeline of sellers that I've been talking to kind of coming into the spring. So I did have a few things that I could use as bait. So I used all that. So what ended up happening is last Thursday, I walked into my networking group that I belong to. It's like a BNI, but it's not BNI.
Yeah.
And I stood up as part of my intros, which I don't normally say this. And I was like, hey, I've got 30 off-market properties right now that I'm working. I have all kinds of options for people if they want to start investing, if they have properties they want to sell, maybe off-market. And that's what I said to my group of about 40 people. Well, my HVAC guy walked up to me, who actually hasn't even joined the group yet, and said, hey, I've got $1 million off-market waterfront rental. Do you have a buyer for that? And I said, the heck I do. Sure I do. So I took that. I actually did have a guy that I had surfaced that's a cash buyer. So I reached out to him. And while I was doing that, I took it and I posted it, using the social media strategy.
Yep.
Well, that surfaced a lady literally stalking me on Friday, trying to find me. I had posted it on Nextdoor and I posted it on Facebook. But see, normally in my old world, I have a Nextdoor business page and I have a Facebook business page.
Yeah.
I don't usually post under my personal stuff, but I happened to do it the other day. Well, I had my Facebook kind of locked down, so she had to go find my phone number and call me anyway. Well qualified, all cash buyer, million.
Hold on. So just for those listening, a consumer, a prospect, a lead chasing her down. Talk about the difference in positioning versus us chasing after them. Business people chasing after you with just some small tweaks. Now, I want to hit on a couple of things just for those that maybe like Wendy. Before the sprint, Wendy was already doing the business, right? Like she's already a successful agent. So it's not like she literally created all of this from scratch in 2.5 weeks, but it went from like busy to like really busy is what I'm doing. Also, just because I'm easily distracted and swirl syndrome. I love that we see Sean in the back with me and Wendy as well. So Sean is Wendy's husband, who is also like, she's brought him into the fire and they have big goals for the year. So I don't know if you had anything else to share, but we've got a decent audience in here. If anyone has questions, you can put them in the chat or even open your line as well. I'll use that as an opportunity to point out the strategy that we were talking about, which is just part of what she shared here. But it has created. It was integral in this person chasing her down, right, hunting her down and finding her. You can find that at leaddeck.ai/sprints at the time of this live stream. It's the most recent recording. It's from Wednesday, February 4th, and it's step by step exactly how I am posting on social media, on particularly Facebook, Nextdoor, and my Google business profile to bring inbound opportunity. and there's a number of
Hey,
different,
Sorry.
there's a number of different posting types or media types, etc. But the big picture, like the framework or the principles, is pretty repeatable and systematic in nature. Let's say. Go ahead, Wendy.
So we did talk about Nextdoor, and you had asked me to maybe mention a little bit about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So because I post on Nextdoor a ton, we run a downsizer event every month, and we market it. We use Nextdoor for that too, and I've always run my own paid ads. Although the organic strategy for the off market is really delivering, and it's free. But with Nextdoor, you can post as on your personal Nextdoor page. In my particular market here, if you're a realtor and you try to post more than like one thing, maybe once a week, they're going to be all over you and they're going to take your post down. So you can
wait. So the Nextdoor admins, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think Stuart,
Stuart
had mentioned at some point in here that he's like, I don't know, like he's what did he call it? He's like a community, community
moderator.
That was it.
Yeah.
A community moderator. Okay, gotcha. All right.
So if you set up, and you get more analytics this way too. So I have a Nextdoor business page. If you have a Nextdoor business page, it's sort of like having a Google business profile.
Right.
I mean, there's a little bit of a setup process. It's a little bit of a pain in the you-know-what. But once you have that, you can post as your business page. I've posted things 3 or 4 times a day on there. I know no one slapped my hand one time. And you can see your analytics of your posts to see which posts are performing better. So
you mentioned this to me last week. I had forgotten that I had a business page on Nextdoor. I've just been using my personal because I haven't had those issues, but I can definitely see it because there are actual community moderators in some areas that could be more problematic. To get a business page it doesn't cost anything. There are some hoops that you have to go through, and it may take you a few days. But if that's a problem for you, or if you just want that to be, specifically business oriented. So I will be pivoting to using that more, except like I at least in my brain, the way I think I'm going to do it is if I'm posting business purposes that aren't like, I recently sold a house in my neighborhood. I would post that on my personal moving forward, or things relate like similar to that, where it is more relevant to my specific community. But otherwise, why not have
a lot? Because and the other thing too is, I've always run all my own ad campaigns across platforms, and I have run ads on Nextdoor in the past. I don't run ads on Nextdoor anymore, and the reason I don't is because it doesn't give you much flexibility on there.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't work for somebody, but the unfortunate thing that they make you do is they make you lock in a 30-day period.
Right.
So it makes it hard to test your creatives, but I've had good experience doing that. And what had happened is I had posted so I post under my personal maybe like once a week. So I pick one that I really want, to kind of matter. And that was my off market $1 million that I had posted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. I've been really busy, and now I'm trying to find properties for my $1.4 million buyer, because she's not going to buy my bait house, but I have stolen her as her buyer's agent. She was out with a Redfin agent, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going with you because I only signed a touring agreement for a day, and I've been wanting off market properties, and you're the only agent that's brought me anything."
I don't want to forget that, because before I let you go, I want to show how I would think about that specifically in Lead Deck a little bit. And it reminds me of an enhancement that I don't think I asked Sean for yet, but it was in my brain. I just haven't communicated, which will be an easy enhancement for us to do. But I have some workarounds even in the interim before that happens. Susan said, in your experience, what platform delivers better results? Facebook group, Nextdoor, or GMB? I asked because Facebook for no reason banned me from Marketplace, and it's impossible to resolve. So I know Wendy has some thoughts. Real quick, I was previously banned from Marketplace for years. And I would say in my case, it was for good reason because I was using it not how it was intended to be used. So I was sort of I was posting listings that weren't listings because all I was trying to do was generate conversations, because conversations lead to contracts and closing. Regardless, I was banned for years. I kept requesting reinstatement, and finally they did reinstate me. And I have, generally speaking, used it more within their terms of use. However, Susan, I get way more results posting on my Facebook page and sharing into groups than I get from actually posting listings in Marketplace. So that's not a big deal. In my experience, Facebook and sharing into groups gets the outsized number of results or responses. And yet, what I do get from Nextdoor and Google My Business is they're like really good. They're like referrals. When you get someone from Nextdoor or Google My Business, you've got a 1 in 5 to 1 in 3 chance of them becoming a client. It's not like a cold lead at all. And generally speaking, the process that's outlined there, the inbound, when someone's DMing you, calling, or texting you, that the level of intent is already higher. For example, the lady that was chasing after Wendy, like, she clearly has intent. You know, it's not like just somebody who's curious about the listing price and the pictures of some listing. Campbell, go ahead.
Yeah, can you create a living doc for us with all of the links that you keep giving out, like Sprint and stuff like that, so we've got a handy reference for those?
Better than that, I will have Sean add a page, or one of two solutions. We're either going to add it to the homepage of leaddeck.ai in the footer, like just very clear instruction of these are the most recommended resources, or it'll be its own page, like, you know, leaddeck.ai/links or live or something like that.
He can also do it just as a site map where it's under there.
Right. Yes. Perfect. One of those, again, it's been on our to-do list. Better than a Google Doc, because those things, like, I have 10 bazillion of them. So before the end of the week, we'll have maybe all of the above. They might be in the footer. It might be a site link, a site map, and also its own standalone page of blah, 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 blah. Because I think what we'll do, the standalone page might be like leaddeck.ai/cal for calendar, and it'll have the Google Calendar and then the specific links. That's actually what we're going to do. So it'll be all of the above. We'll get it as many places as for easy reference as possible.
Thank you, sir. That'll be helpful.
If it's helpful, last night you know how I usually have 100 tabs open?
Yep.
And a lot of them are all of these links,
yep.
Google Docs.
Yep.
And I started a Google Doc with all of the different links. So I started putting them in there last night. If that's helpful for me to share with you,
sure.
You guys can grab that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And they're titled what it is, what the links are.
Wendy, anything else for the good of the group before I let you go? And I got a couple other things that I wanted to share that I think will be helpful, and stuff that I have to knock out one way or the other. So I get to kill 2 birds.
No, I mean, it's just interesting to see, like, when you pull a string, kind of where it ends up leading to, because I never could have in a million years been like, oh, I'm going to know my HVAC guy who's got an off market property, and that's going to generate some random lady who lives in Pennsylvania out of nowhere. So
pulling the string is a great analogy, I think, because I haven't said this in a while, but some of our early Founders Club members, this was a theme that came up, in that they were thinking or wanted it to be a linear process. It's A to B to C. And it really just isn't. You get things going. And then the other analogy or visual I've used is, you've seen in like the detective movies where the FBI's got this cork board and there's all these pins and they're connecting strings. That's really what starts to happen. The more cards you have in your hand or in both hands, the more strings that are possible to connect. On the 11 a.m. session, I'm going to be doing a different variation of one of the things Wendy mentioned. Is she now has this buyer who her budget is up to 1.4. The guy from her networking group, his property isn't what she's looking for. How can I find her other off-market deals? My scenario is a guy looking for 100 acres of land here in central PA, but the framework and the principles hold regardless. One thing, and she's probably already done this, is go and look for expired or canceleds that would fit the criteria of this buyer. The other thing is lead deck, sellers. I'm just going to put in all of Charlotte because I don't want you to give away unless you want to give me, the zip code or the city. But how would I adapt this so I'm more likely to find properties that specifically fit? The recommendation that I want, and I've just forgotten, is instead of 6 boxes here, I want 8. Minimum, maximum beds, minimum, maximum value. Now, the value is an AVM value. So it's not foolproof, but it's better than nothing. In Wendy's case, I would assume if she's looking for something like that, it's got to have at least 4 or 5 bedrooms.
Yeah, it's hard here because we're on septic.
Okay.
And it's hard here because she wants waterfront. I don't have the ability to search only waterfront.
Okay, so this is another thing that is a work in progress. We're still trying to figure out the best way to do this, but instead of basically 2 ways to search location, zip code, city, county, and also adding where we could pop open a map, we can drop a pin and do a radius around that. For waterfront, it still wouldn't be perfect, but closer to what we're looking for. So actually, since Wendy's doesn't perfectly fit, I'm going to do one. I think I shared this recently, and then I've dropped the ball on actually implementing this on behalf of the person. I have somebody that I've been in conversation with through email, and I think I've talked to her on the phone a couple times, who she replied to one of my daily habits is I email people who are looking at properties either in Bold Trail or in my MLS. And she responded, I think this weekend, and said, change of plans. We now need a 4+ bedroom home in this specific school district. And so I went and under this amount. I went and looked, there was one active. But why would I not do everything possible to find her other off-market inventory? Because this is my backyard. And a 4-bedroom in the price range she's looking, if she doesn't want it, I can sell it like that, either to a portfolio buyer, institutional buyer, or on the open market. So I'm going to put in 400,000. She needs a minimum of 4 bedrooms. And I preview the lead counts. And we've got 29 tired, 6 out of state, 3 vacant, 4 inherited. And I need to get to work on reaching out to these. If I don't get to it sooner, I will be doing that on tomorrow's session. I just don't have time. I have other things that I need to invest my time into sooner than those. One of which is a seller that replied to a tap to email that I sent Monday or Tuesday. Well, I sent it Monday. I sent it Monday at 10:08 a.m. So it was on Monday's Closers Cafe. And this is one that I remember saying, I'm pretty sure this is her real email. Now, it turns out that the one she emailed, I thought it was Erica Kramer at Gmail, but there was the third email. There's a lesson in this. The third email listed for her was Erica. I shouldn't be saying. Great. Was first name, middle initial, last name. Okay. Generic. I say generic, but our standard sort of out of the box template. There was nothing different or unique about this message. Just curious, is there any chance you consider selling your property to a private client of mine? if I remember correctly, this was, all I did was pull zip code, out of state absentee, and involuntary lien, I think, or the out of state absentee. Doesn't really matter. They're all good. Okay. Just do the work. But she replied, it is a possibility I would consider. Tell me a bit more. She sent that late last night. I haven't replied yet, in part because I wanted to share exactly what I do in this scenario, because this is something that is coming up more and more often. Okay. It's working. I'm starting to get responses and stuff, but I don't know what to do next. In this case, I don't have anyone, at least off the top of my head, portfolio buyers, card in hand for this one. So in that case, the path that I go is I go over to Fast Cash Offers and I pull up what cash offers are available, and I will use that as delivering on the thing that I was promising or teasing, which is I have a private client. And I will also use it as a way to plant the seed of, this may be a solution or option for you, but we have other options and solutions as well. So what was the address of this here? So the first thing we got to do, we just enter an address and we hit search. And 10 to 15, sometimes it takes, I don't know, sometimes it takes up to 30 seconds for these to populate. But, you know, grand scheme of things, not a huge deal. Actually, it says typical runtime is less than a minute. I don't think I've ever had it take a minute, but whatever. Even if it took a minute, who cares, right? Here we go. First thing I'm going to do, because I already have somebody who has, you know, she's said, yeah, you know, considering it. I'm going to save the snapshot. That then saves it so I can go back in my dashboard and pull that up later. So I'm going to send this to her. And by the time she responds back, I will likely have submitted more properties. So but I want to be able to go back and look at
Say
those.
one thing on this
Sure, please.
that I figured out, because I know a lot of people when they were in here, they were trying to figure out how to get the little eye to turn it off so that they couldn't see some offers. You have to save it first, and then it gives you that option to turn off the eyeball.
That's a great additional point. Correct. You can't do anything with that until you save it, because until you save it, it's really just a preview. It's just for you to look at. So why would you search it and not save it? Well, if you're just curious about a property or whatever, you know, I would say that more often than not, when I put in an address and get the offers, more often than not, I am saving it, but not always, not always. Now there's a couple of things I can do up here. I typically don't really use this too often. If you're using the tool, if you're using the full marketing suite, let me say that. If you're using the full marketing suite and you skip trace, I have this linked up so that when I skip trace, that will pop them into my bold trail. And I actually used this earlier today before the session, because I had some leads that they had found a post of mine or something using last week's Wednesday session training. They had found a post of mine, at least that's what I'm assuming, because I couldn't figure out where else they came from, but they had gone and submitted a property, but that's all they did. They just went and looked at their offers and they didn't opt in. Well, I can skip trace them and they go right into my bold trail, which I have done. Now, returning from the sidetrack, I have Erica. She said, I'm curious. I've submitted her property. I've saved the snapshot. I can see the estimates of value, which may or may not be accurate. And there's actually, I mean, it's 32,000 difference between Zillow and whatever. I don't even know what RE API is, but we all know what these three are. Okay. When I'm presenting these, I want no more than 2 or 3 at most options to show. I'm going to make a recommendation to Joe that we can like predetermine if there are certain offers that we don't want to show, because admittedly, it's kind of annoying to deselect a bunch of these. So I don't want that offer to show. I hit the eyeball. I don't want this offer. I don't want any Zoodealio offers to show. For whatever reason in my market, they're not realistic. Like that offer was 335. The highest AVM was 329, and the Zillow AVM is 297. Like, I don't even know. I don't know where those numbers are coming from. This is a newer home. I'm going to assume that the cash with renovation isn't applicable. The cash with lease isn't applicable because it's already an absentee owned property, at least according to the tax records. And these two, the buy first, sell later, these are for owner occupant properties that in a perfect world, they'd like to buy their new construction home or their trade up home, move into that so that they can vacate the current property, clean it out, not have to try and figure out how to move all in one day or all in 1 week, and then sell it on the open market. Not applicable in these, but I'm going through it, so I'll figure I'll share. And this is actually responding pretty quickly. Sometimes for whatever reason, when I go to hide them, it takes like several seconds to hide it, which is kind of annoying and brings up my point. Like Zoodealio, I just would like to be hidden for me in my market. They just don't make any sense. So now I have 3 options here. I could probably even hide another one, but whatever. 2 or 3 is fine. 2 or 3 is fine. But if it's 5, then it becomes confusion. And what does a confused mind say? No thanks, right? Confused mind says no. I've got it to this point. For some additional context, I've literally only gotten her response, that email response. In that scenario, I want to present my options for her in 60 seconds or less. In other words, I haven't earned the right for her to invest more time with me yet. If she had called me from that and we had a 5 or 10 or 15-minute conversation and I got more details, etc., then I may have earned the right and I would have more context to know already or have a better idea of which would be the best option. We're not there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to hit the share button, okay? Share right here. And I'm going to open the seller view. So this is what they can see. Notice the only thing that's on here is tax record information, the AVMs, and the 3 offer options with details. If they click view details. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hide this so it's not there. I'm going to put her name flashing in lights on my phone. I get asked this all the time. It is the Make It Big app. The icon is just big. Okay? Make It Big app. I'm going to put her name. Yep. Okay. Just making sure I was spelling Erica right. And I'm going to record her. Record her a Loom video. Erica, good morning. This is glitching out because too much going on and it was throwing me off. It wasn't, my webcam was freezing. So I'm going to try one more time. And if not, if this doesn't work, what I may do is record this after I'm done live streaming and zooming and whatever, and it's not glitching, and then I'll share tomorrow. So I'm going to try one more time, but if it's still glitching. Yeah, still glitching. So how's this for an open loop? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to record that. I'm going to send it to her. I will show tomorrow exactly what that looked like.
Might use that camera.
I don't know what you were saying.
Josh, I guarantee you the problem is you can't use your camera for 2 functions at the same time.
No, I've done exactly. I've done
Zoom, and you're trying to use it for your video.
No, I've done it a bazillion times. It's my Wi-Fi.
Wow.
There's too many things pulling my Wi-Fi because I've done it last week on here. Although let me try this. I'll try one more time just because I'm curious. What I'll do is I'll hide my video on Zoom and maybe that'll do it. Maybe that'll help in this case. Hey, Erica, good morning. I appreciate you taking the time to reply. So we have a couple of private clients. They're out-of-state clients that we represent. They're actually institutional home buyers, hedge funds, and they have unique offer options. And so what I've got on the screen here is a couple of those offer options for you to consider with more details about what the fees are associated with each of them. So I'm going to include this dashboard with this video. You can check it out. You can click the view detail for more information and a breakdown. Now, these are preliminary offer numbers. And for me to get you the best offer possible, at some point, I would just need to pop by the property, take some photos. It usually takes 15 to 20 minutes. I will also mention that depending on the situation or the scenario, we have other options or solutions for you. Specifically, one of them, which a lot of our clients end up choosing, is something we call our 7-day stress-free home sale system. So what I would be curious is, from these options, which do you think would most likely be the best solution for you? And would you be available for us to have a quick chat, maybe sometime later this week, to explore them in more detail by phone or Zoom or whatever is easiest for you? Thanks, and let me know. Longer than I wanted, in part because it was glitching out, in part because it was my first one of the day, and I usually, if I get into a flow, I communicate more efficiently and effectively. And it was still glitching out a little bit, which was throwing me off. But and I have Campbell up here. Doggone it. I'm going to have to record it again anyway, because I have Campbell's AI avatar floating up there because I forgot to hide that again. But you get the point. So here's what I'll do. This is how I edit them in Loom. So for Erica, from Josh.
So do I get a referral fee there, Josh?
Oh, man. That was funny. I didn't even realize until I see you're just floating back and forth. Your AR avatar is just floating back and forth. Anyway, this is my naming structure every time I'm creating and sending a video like that. Always for Erica, from Josh, RE, the property address. I remove the filler words. If there were silences, I'd remove those as well. And then I literally just take that and I post it. I'm going to record a clean one that's 60 seconds or less, and I will share what that looks like tomorrow. And maybe by that time, I'll even have had a response to or from her. I also could have cleaned up my call to action. And so I wanted to give 2 options for the call to action. If you'd like to explore any of these options or our 7-day stress-free home sale program, just let me know. I'd be happy to have a quick chat or hop on Zoom with you, later this week sometime if you're available, something like that. Okay, so that was one thing. What else? There was one other thing that I wanted to share on here. Oh, no, I got Angela. Maybe that was the majority that I had before doing our actual live prospecting session this afternoon. Oh, no, this was the one other thing. Talk long enough and you remember. On Monday's Closers Cafe, I sent out my weekly home value email. Am I glitching? Can you guys hear me? All right, hold on. Let me. Can you guys hear me? Am I good? Okay. All right. Sorry. So I sent out that email, and let me find one that. Here we go. So I sent that out on, I scheduled it on Monday. It went out yesterday. And step 3 in the process, and just look, there's perfect scenarios and then there's real life. It's a 3-step process. Send an email, send a bump text, then send the call to action email. I didn't even get to the bump text. I was busy. I've been busy. So I didn't even send the bump text. I sent an email. And then this morning, I sent my money email. It's the 3rd step in the process, which in this case was just 2 steps. Okay. And it still works. So you can be imperfect and still get results. The email to get her to look at the property apparently she must have opted in. So she didn't look at that email. Well, I'll share the money email, and then I'll share what the email was that got people to it. But I have 3 variations of this email that I send 24 to 48 hours after someone looks at their dashboard. This dashboard. Okay, this dashboard, essentially. It doesn't look exactly like this, but I mean, kind of. The money email in this case was, what did you think of the values for street address in your seller dashboard, first name, my signature file, PS, relating back to one of the phrases yesterday. Would you be totally opposed to exploring your offer options? Now, I sent that out earlier. I have not gotten any replies yet. We'll see if I do by this time tomorrow. Generally speaking, I get 2 to 5, sometimes 10 replies to this money email. Actually, I did get one reply. I moved it. I got, let me find it here. I've gotten one reply so far. It was Kathy, who says, not selling now, thank you. Got it. Thanks, Kathy. If/when anything changes, parentheses, or if you hear anyone in the area talking about selling or buying, selling, or investing, keep us in mind. Have a great rest of the week. Now, I could have also said, not selling now. Are you thinking about selling this summer or whatever? But for now, that's good enough. She's in my CRM. I will continue to send her at a minimum the monthly market, my monthly home value update. She's also getting a market report for her property. I'm doing everything possible. So I didn't feel the need to push real hard there. Let me see here. Let me see if I'll pull her up to show what the initial email looks like. This is if you're using the complete marketing suite with fast cash offers. You can use the offers only for free. And if you need access to that, just DM me or text me or whatever, email me. But if you want the full suite so that you can integrate it with your CRM and run action plans like this, among many other things that you can do as well, you have to have the full marketing suite, which you can get a 21-day free trial, and it's $99 a month after that. This is the email that I sent. I scheduled it Monday. It went out yesterday. The subject line, I made it timely in that I just put in brackets February 2026, FEB 26. So it was like, this is for this month. Updated home values and offer options for, and then the street address only, not the full address, street address only. And then the email is very simple. I don't know. Sometimes it brings it up the way it should look. Sometimes it doesn't. Only because I think when I'm doing it, when I'm clicking, see, in her inbox, because her information is merged, it will look, it'll come up correctly. Let me see if I can find mine. So for those who are curious, you can see what the dashboard actually looks like. Is this for, yeah, this is mine. Well, for some reason, it's not coming up. But for most people, if integrated correctly, they don't have to opt in. They're taken immediately to their dashboard. It also works with direct mail where someone scans and they will be taken right to their dashboard. So that went out yesterday morning, and now the follow-up went out this morning to these. I did the follow-up one-to-many. In other words, because I have the full suite, I was able to filter by people that had gotten or that had clicked and went over to their home value dashboard. And also, the way I figured out that this works is every month I would manually send everybody. I would literally go and look in my back office here. I would go and look. If I go to lead search, it will show me everyone that is looking at their values. And I would go and look, and I would manually send that money email. And even though it was annoying, it never, like it, at most it took like a half an hour to 45 minutes, and it uncovered listings. I got, I don't know, 5 or 6 listings last year from that 3-step process. That all told, once a month takes me, I don't know, at most 60 to 90 minutes once a month. And it turned into, you know, even if you calculate that off. So what did it, so from 12 to 15 hours or 12 to 18 hours of work in 2025, I got 5 or 6 listings from that process. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it. You know, and that doesn't even include what other opportunities came from those listings, right? Because if we're doing a good job of marketing the listings, that turns into, you know, more opportunities as well. Any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas before I give myself a little time to regroup before the 11 a.m. session? The link for the 21-day trial, of course, Marilyn. Let me find it. Let me think here.
Also, remind me where this recording ends up. What's the...
Okay, so Closers Cafe is just leaddeck.ai/closers. The my stupid internet. They usually, it's usually later in the day, worst case scenario, early morning the next day. And then the 11 a.m. session is leaddeck.ai/sprints. And Marilyn, let me find the link here. So, that's the wrong one. Wait a minute. Looks different. Agent invite links, affiliate links. Huh. Unlimited access. I don't know. Joe must have changed something. I got to figure out which the right link is. Which link is the right link? User search snapshot. I'll have to confirm, Marilyn. I don't know why. It used to be offers only, leads only, whatever. I don't know what these new things mean exactly. The premium. Agents have access. Let me just see here. Oh, this is it. I don't know why that was looking confusing to me. I'll put this in the chat. And you need an invite code to keep the riffraff out. Obviously, Marilyn, you're not riffraff, and no one in here is, but you get the point. And that's the invite code. And if you have any troubles with that, just reach out, Marilyn. Okay. So tomorrow I'll have that Erica example, like what I actually end up sending her, and documented for those who want to ride along for the live prospecting. Just go to leaddeck.ai/sprints. You can, the big red button here gets you into the Zoom room. If you miss it, or you want to check out last week's or any of the sprints that we've done recently, they're on the page as well. And let's make it a great one. Wendy, thank you for sharing, and Campbell as well, and James, thank you for putting together this resource for everyone as well.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.